God is good. And all the time. Amen, my friends. A few announcements for you. As you can find, you can't find them on the screen behind me. We've had technical issues this morning. Isn't that great? As our kids might be singing with the DVDs that we have for Vacation Bible School, the projector, or at least the computer doesn't want to work. So friends, please forgive us for not having our controlling announcements back there. We planned it for this morning because we thought it'd be great. Okay, that's called sarcasm. We'll move on. As our crack crew in the sound booth is scrambling to try to fix this, we'll see what we can do. But otherwise, we'll make things go. So please bear with me. You can find the announcements in our programs as well. If you're a guest today, we have guest cards in the pews there. They're right there in that pew rack. If you wouldn't mind to fill them out for us. The pens are in the rack as well. And also, if you have a prayer request, please fill out the card for prayer requests as well. As you can see inside our bulletins, we pray for each other. The SMILE program is the Kids' Day Camp down at Rainy Springs Park, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right there in the community building, as well as then we overtake parts of the park, enough leaders allowed. But that's Tuesdays, free activities, free lunch. So if your youngsters interested and able to get there, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Rainy Springs Park. Anywhere for kids about 3 years of age, once we're potty trained, through 6th graders. Youth group Sunday nights, as well as some other activities. Though not youth group tonight at the Vacation Bible School. My youth group here as well for students 7th through 12th grade. Our kids' Sunday school is taking the summer off. We'll be starting up again that Sunday directly after Labor Day for Sunday school, both kids and adults, I should say. Our Waldemere Day is coming up this Saturday. If you missed out, we're starting. We have 185 people scheduled who are going to be meeting at Waldemere Park. We're going to overtake the place, it sounds like. Picnic lunch at 2 p.m. at our pavilion. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes open on the church's Facebook page, especially for next year. We're able to get the tickets for $10 a person for Waldemere. So again, if you're interested, check that out for next year. Our church picnic is August 7th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. over at the park in New Wilmington. Details are in your programs as well. Everyone's welcome. And because I'm reading my own handwriting, Bonnie, do you want to try to figure out what that said? I don't think you want to try to read that. It says give thanks, but it looks like a bunch of scribbles, so don't mind me. If you ever receive a card from me, that should tell you my handwriting never gets better. Our give thanks meal as we thank our local firefighters, EMTs, police department, and whatnot in our community will be on October 16th here at the church. Details in your programs, but it's one way for us to say thank you to those who sacrificed so much. It's our Thanksgiving dinner for them, but in October, because why not? And then, finally, we have community worship this coming Sunday at Mercer Park. So Rainy Springs Park, one of the big pavilions down there near the pond, there will be community worship at 11 a.m. That did not make it into your bulletins, but if you're interested, that's next Sunday, 11 a.m., community worship at Rainy Springs Park. It's for the whole community. Friends, thank you. Thank you. So many of you who gave of your time this week of Vacation Bible School. You may be able to tell that some folks who are at Vacation Bible School are wearing green shirts. Mine has at least watermarks. I don't know why I have watermarks. If you're wearing here Friday night, you don't know what I'm talking about. Some of us are still wearing slime or who knows what else. Wonderful. If we smell a little bit, it's not personal. It's just with 5 weeks of Vacation Bible School, it's sort of tough to keep up with laundry, let alone daily habits like showering. So, be gracious and kind, because the folks wearing green shirts and so many others who didn't have a chance to wear their green shirts gave their time this week loving on our kids. So for those of you who are here, thank you. Friends, let's greet one another with the love of Christ. Good morning, Caleb.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Start up already. just a hard shutdown, let it sit there for like 30 seconds and they start it. Then start back on. I'll keep playing. You're going to sometimes you do have to actually go to parties like that.
Good luck, everybody.
Thanks. It's all my fault.
Thanks so much, friends. Why don't we grab our seats and continue to prepare our hearts and minds for worship. Are you too, Dad?
I should not touch this.
Friends, if you have any computer issues at your house whatsoever, what I'm suggesting is this. You call Derek or Kale or Davey. They fixed it. I'm fearing I'm the one who broke the sucker that yesterday putting pictures in. So call them, not me. Thanks, guys, for being volunteered to be our new Geek Squad. Friends, let's stand together for a call to worship, which thankfully you can find on the screen behind me. It's Psalm 97. The Lord reigns, let all the earth be glad.
Heavens proclaim God's righteousness.
Lord, you are the most high over all the earth.
Let those who have the Lord hate evil.
God's light shines on the righteous and gives joy to the upright in heart.
Rejoice in the Lord and praise his holy name.
Amen. So my friends, let's sing together. Praise the name of Jesus.
Praise
So basically, you have to click it once the song starts, when you're actually on the screen. Now, once the song's over, if you click the song for the good again to get to the next screen. There's two and I'll just go on with you.
Alright, so we're going to go over a few things that we did this week. Do you all remember what our main words were this week? Mondays was go beyond with faith. Faith. How about go beyond on Tuesdays? Go beyond with Wednesday, go beyond with kindness. Good job. Thursday, go beyond with faithfulness. And Friday was go beyond with hope. Guys, can you repeat the Bible verse after me? Glory to God. Glory to God. Who is able to do. Far beyond. All that we could ask. Or imagine. By His power. At work. Within us. Ephesians 3:20. Good job. All right, so it's all we're doing our feet on our way to Mars. All right, ready?
And click on it and play. Have volume sound good?
Yeah, I think so. Just because.
It'll get louder.
Yeah,
I'll
it's getting louder.
well, keep going in. Major volume and the numbers.
there. Boaz is still over there. Those steps gonna work? Great.
You're for now.
Hey, Kel, do you mind hitting the next screen? And play.
No. It's good.
Okay.
I think. You can leave it up.
What great music gets me thinking about the Earthlings at Vacation Bible.
We were found in the meaning of life. It's all about Jesus. Where we found all about who life was about, Jesus. Where we found out that Ensign Brian can't even run down this aisleway without even falling.
I'm so glad to find out that we can go beyond with faith when Daniel and the lions didn't listen to
I am so happy to know that we can go beyond with boldness like Ruth did when she met Boaz. I'm so excited to know that we can go beyond with kindness like the Good Samaritan did. I'm so hyped to know that we can go beyond with thankfulness like the one leper who was healed, thank Jesus.
I'm so excited to know that we can go beyond the phone like the disciples had to go on the road to Emmaus.
Maybe 320. But where's Ensign Brian? He said he had to run in P320 and the description.
Sam didn't even have his mic on.
Maybe
There's only 240 lines.
maybe he
I don't think he has.
Yeah, he didn't. You see it on his left side.
P320 told
He might
us
finally
about
turn it on.
Right. No, him. Yeah, he turned it off. I can't do it.
Oh, yeah, he didn't turn it on.
He did get lost on his own road on the ship.
It was pretty embarrassing.
No, there it
Maybe
was.
we should check.
Captain Keys fixed her. Carl Connor. Sergeant Monsander. Deep matter, dark matter, Dylan. I can't find EP 320. Can you help me out?
You lost me again. That's at least 5 times at the Vacation Bible.
I know.
I probably can't even trust you with my lightsaber.
What lightsaber?
You lost my lightsaber. I'm going to.
Whoa. Remember what we learned this week at Vacation Bible about Jesus. How you are by the kindness.
I don't know who this thing wants to know.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Dark Matter, Dylan. I'll try to find it after we find EP 320. You'd think we'd be able to see that green alien on this ship, but it's hopeless.
There's always hope. Remember, Jesus rose from the dead. I have some faith, like Daniel in the lion's den.
I just hope we can find that green alien.
Wait, you hear that sound over there?
Wait, I think it's over there.
I don't hear anything. I
this week. But in the midst of all the chaos and lack of sleep and everything else that goes into Vacation Bible School, one of the things that our kids and our leaders and our performers especially did is they let God's power work through them. It's easy to memorize a memory verse. What was that? Matt, do you remember what it was? No, it's on a sheet of paper, yeah. It's a whole other thing. But one of the things that Ephesians 3:20 gets at is this: that God's power will work through you. We can talk about it in church, but when it's hotter and so hot that you think that you have sprinklers inside your armpits, when it is so warm, you're so worn out, you don't even think you can get off the couch, let alone do anything in Vacation Bible School, God's able to do incredible things through us. You guys modeled that this week. You guys modeled it this morning. Come on, Grayson. Okay, bye, Grayson. You modeled that this week. Well done. You guys put it into practice. Let God keep working through you. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much how you're willing to work through us. Empower our kids to be your ambassadors, be your delegation, be your, just like in Star Trek, I guess, be those folks going where no one has gone before. Father, help them to show you and everybody else. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys, because you have been out of this world this week, I have here, if you like, some Star Wars stickers. You can get a sheet if you like. I've got some, because go beyond the boldness and our mission of ours. Here are some Starlight mints. If you like them, finally go Milky Way, because of the stars. Per person, if you like. You don't like any of them? We'll get the stickers. That's later. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. I'm going to play here if you guys want one. You don't like them? Okay. Okay, good idea. You got one there. Good job there. Friends, what do you want to give God thanks for this morning? What would you like to praise God for who God is? And what do we need to pray about? What? Bring Joel over a week ago, was hit by a car. He's had multiple, is he 8? 9, thank you. That's what you're told. Yeah. Braden goes to my wife's church, the Big Bend Methodist Church. Braden was hit by a car and is in Children's Hospital recovering. So he's had over a week of multiple surgeries and whatnot. So keep praying for Braden Joel. Thanks, Juan. Friends, is there anything else you want to thank God for? Praise God for who God is. Anything we need to be praying for. Jessica.
To keep my mom's side of the family in prayer. We lost my uncle's family on Friday, so my mom's sister's husband and my 2 cousins. He was diagnosed with leukemia on Monday, and he passed on Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay. So be praying for your Uncle Stanley's family.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Friends, is there anything else? Landon.
My dog Parker.
Yeah. Yeah. Landon and Caitlin and the family lost their dog Parker this week. So be praying for them. Thanks, Landon. Friends, is there anything else you want to thank God for? Praise God for who God is. Dad.
I think it's 2 weekends now. My sister got a job in California, so she's moving all the way to California by herself. So we have no friends, no family out there. She knows no one.
Okay.
It's traveling work season and everything.
Thanks, Dad. So be praying for Deb. What's your sister's name again? Devin. Thank you. Be praying for Devin as she's moving to California on her own. Thanks, Deb. Linda.
A friend, neighbor of mine, when I was a child at home, he and his wife has been diagnosed with Creutzfeldt
And that was, I've got Crisfeld Nyama. We're going to say it's easy, he has 6 months. I'm not going to butcher it or do this. Thank you. Let's pray for them. John Huber's family. Okay. I don't want John this time. Bruce Merritt, who is a retired pastor out of this church. Bruce has been fighting off sepsis as well as many other issues. His mom, Doris, is also a member of this church as well as his sister. So be praying for Bruce. That's a lot on his family. Bruce, 4 or 5 years ago, fell while he was on vacation, is paralyzed from the waist down now. And so this is not the easy road. And also, there's another prayer request about in Kingsman, Ohio, the storm damage has been horrific. Rose Noggles, family friend, Mary Knowles, and Amy and whatnot are there as well. I saw another name, Glenda.
Say prayers for the parents and maybe ever to make sure the kids got on vacation last week, given, summer schedules and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So, for all of you who suffered through bringing your kids, or maybe you were just like, yes! No, I don't care. You said it out loud. Thank you. Friends, is there anything else you want to thank God for? Praise God for who God is. Jeannie.
I just praise every child in this room right now, how God's going to work through them.
I agree. We have some gifted kids here. Yeah, and it's impressive to watch how some of our folks who were in the skits 2 years ago couldn't speak in public. Pretty powerful. Sandy.
Mine is just a Thanksgiving for all that happened this week. It was just God's grace that got us through because it was so hot here. And we were so tired, and it wasn't any of us that did the work. It was having me right did it because having him, it was amazing what happened here.
Thanks, God working through us because this was not easy. Anything else, my friends? Then let's go to the Lord together in prayer. Father, there's power that works through us. We seem to miss out on it, we often ignore it. We read the Bible and just assume that happened then and it's not now, but somehow that is the past tense and not present. Oh, Father, forgive us. If you are from everlasting to everlasting, and Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and even more so, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, that tells us that you are the God of not just yesterday and those stories of old, but you are the God of today, and that means that same power works within us, let alone your love. Father, open us up to the power you'll give us. That ability we saw in some of our leaders this week, crawling out of bed in the morning, somehow able to be here. Parents who go through the daily grind with kids cranky from the heat and able to still get their students here. Students willing to sacrifice to be in a skit or lead other kids or hold a little one's hand or be in a group they didn't want to be with. We thank you, Father, for how you move and work. And those are the simple things. Let alone Daniel in the lion's den, or lepers being healed, or Jesus talking with disciples on the road to Emmaus, how you can move and work in incredible ways in our lives. Thank you that you don't quit on us, that you're not a past tense God, but that you truly are present. Not just present tense, but if we know your son Jesus, you are present. Thank you, Father. And so, because you're a present God, we're asking for you to move and work in our midst. We pray for healing for Bruce Merritt and his battle with sepsis and other diseases and injuries. We pray in Jesus' name. We'll lift before you, Father, the folks in Kingsman, Ohio, and so many other places with the floodwaters ravaging towns. What was that? 12 inches in a few hours in Kingsman, Ohio. We pray, Father, for your protection, and especially for Rose's friends, Mary and Knowles and Amy. We lift before you, Bray and Jill, we pray for continued healing for this 9-year-old. We lift before you Uncle Stanley's family, as Jessica's uncle passed away. We pray, Father, that you walk through the valley of the shadow of death with him. We lift before you Deb's sister, Deb, and her move to California. Father, we're asking that you would be with Linda's childhood friend, John Huber, in his battle with this debilitating disease. We live before you. Thank you, Father, for the parents willing to sacrifice for Creation Bible School, for all the kids who are willing to come and even more so pour themselves out. Father, for all the folks who are willing to help and serve, we thank you. we ask Father to be with the Chapmans. It's so hard to say goodbye. And yet, because of Jesus, it's not really goodbye. Parker, a dog. We've got incredible hope for what you're able to do. So Father, we thank you and praise you, because you're not just the God of the past or the present. You ultimately are the future. And so we thank you and praise you as we pray in Jesus, taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Friends, the readings this morning come from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 as well as John chapter 3. You have it ready? You rock. As that makes your way forward, my friends, let's pray together. Let's pray. Lord, open our hearts and minds by the power of the Holy Spirit, that as the scriptures are read and your word proclaimed, we may hear with joy what you say to us today. 1 second. Also, some of our younger guys are heading off to the nursery, and so that's where they're going. If you're wondering, nursery's down that way. If you want to drop your kids up, I'm quite capable of working with whatever happens. Okay.
1 Corinthians 13:6. Love is not delight in evil, but rejoices in good fruit. John 3:19. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people loved darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil.
Friends, this is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Amen. So love doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. This summer we've been talking about in the summer of love, what love really means. Because if you're like me, you're at a lot of weddings over the summer, and everybody reads in 1 Corinthians 13. But what do those verses mean? One of the difficult ones that we didn't do any foresight or thought when we placed this into our summer sermon schedule series. Love doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. But it is something we have to talk about. Real love doesn't delight in evil. So what does evil even mean? And not only that, but how does it rejoice with truth? It's easy to say those words. Like David. I do love it whenever I start the sermon. You can just see at times just the way the kids roll it. Love doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. What does that mean? One, grand scheme, but two, how do we actually put that into practice? Where we don't delight in evil. It's easy to rail against, wait, I shouldn't point my own house, should I? Well, it's a whole other thing for you and I to deal with. How do we deal with evil? Because God's kind of love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Real love, God's love, doesn't delight in evil, rejoices in the truth. Now, there are bonehead moments. We're not calling these bonehead moments evil. There are times where we just mess up or we sin. For example, our next picture is an example of somebody who's doing something, can I say, a little stupid? Here we go. The Dixon Police Department on July 9, 2019, which is 10 days ago. Do I have my math right? Let me double check. All right, 12 days ago. They arrested Jennifer A. Janice Jaeger at approximately 3:07 p.m. In Dixon, Illinois, the police department received a complaint from a concerned citizen about an Audi passenger car driving north on the Peoria Avenue Bridge with children inside the pool. Bingo! During the course of the investigation, it was learned that Jaeger drove into town to inflate the pool at a friend's house and had her two juvenile daughters sit in the pool while she drove home so the pool didn't fly away. That's not evil. That's just stupid. It is legal too. Thanks, Hunter. Because it is. It's illegal and it's just not smart. Yeah, so my kids are going to hold down the pool as if you've ever driven down the road. You can see what can happen when the wind starts going. Those kids are thankfully not flopping in the wind still. That's just calm. We may say that's sin, but that's not evil. Evil is the sort of thing when you attack someone else, where you're destroying someone else. when you're trying to hurt. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, evil points activities are against God's desire for our lives, how we relate to others, how we relate to God. The word is adakaya, which is unrighteousness, evil, wrongdoing, or wickedness, according to the Greek translation. And in John 3:19, the word for evil there is ponra. I know everybody's just so excited that you can use this on Jeopardy, or that new wheel show that you're going to have a whole lot of money on, like some dude won $7 million this week. Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? Wonderful. I was watching TV while you were working at VBS. We'll move on. Either way, in John 3:19, that word for evil is talking about being morally or socially worthless, wicked, evil, bad, base, worthless, vicious, and degenerate. What does that mean? It means that you're self-centered, you're destructive towards other people, you don't care about anybody else. That's the kind of word for evil. And yet, we can throw out evil for the words, like for example, with concentration camps with the Nazis. We can throw around the word for evil with Mao Zedong in China, who may have been the most destructive murderer to ever live, as he wiped out people upon people. We could talk about how in the Soviet Union, how they wiped out whole people groups in genocide. That's the kind of evil that's easy to point out. It's harder, though, when it's present tense. When we look at the border situation, what's evil there, what isn't? When we watch the White House and also the squad and the House of Representatives throwing around language flippantly, imagine side of the aisle we're on, we often point out and say, they're evil, they're not. But you and I have a choice to make locally. How do we address evil? One, because we've got evil that works itself out in us, and two, also we see it around us. The story goes like this. The O'Learys and the McMillans lived as neighbors at the turn of the century. One day, a young man in a suit came to the village to explain that they would soon have electricity for the first time. The McMillans had responded with their typical excitement. They could not wait. The O'Learys were a little more cautious. After all, they lived for generations without electricity, and they had managed just fine. They weren't about to throw money after another passing fad. Moving on. So they decided to wait. If electricity was good as everyone had said, hey, they could always sign up for it later. Good stuff, guys. When the big day finally came, the McMillans invited their neighbors, including the O'Learys, to a grand lighting party. With a dramatic flourish, Mr. McMillan threw a switch in the house, and the bulbs began to glow for the first time. The McMillan house was illuminated more brightly than it had ever been in their entire life. And everyone in the house said, oh, how lovely. And then they looked at the walls. Oh, how filthy. Those candles and gas, not gas, what I want to say, those candles and oil lamps had left a layer of soot on the walls they had not been able to see without proper lighting. The cobwebs in the corners that you always miss unless you're really looking for them. Nobody noticed them until the lights were suddenly turned on. The people there looked at the mess and started to shake their heads. The McMillans were filled with sadness. The house they thought was clean really wasn't as clean as they thought. They realized that there was something amiss. Well, the O'Learys saw that house and they're like, no way. Nobody's ever putting electricity into our house. I don't want anybody to see that sort of dirt. The O'Learys went home and talked about how awful those McMillans were, how terrible they were, and how dirty their house is. Meanwhile, the McMillans saw how dirty their house was, and what they did, when everybody left, they pulled out the buckets. They pulled out the cleaning products. They pulled out the Swiffer. They had a Swiffer back in those days. And they started Swiffering away and scrubbing and cleaning, and that house was spotless. Now, of course, some dirt got in there. Sometimes they tracked it in, and sometimes it just seemed to happen. Sometimes the spiders came in and snuck in and did their thing. But their house, especially with the electricity on, it had newfound light shone in every corner. And it's clean. But the O'Learys, we don't need no stealing electricity. They live in the same old stuff, not knowing just how bad it was. John chapter 3, verse 19 reminds us of that there are those who will reject what we talk about Jesus because the darkness in their own life is quite comfortable. They don't want to see light. And Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Without me, there is no light. There's evil we're going to encounter, friends. Some of it, sadly, we do. When we sin and we hurt other people in a profound way, that can come about. My hope is that we're not intentional about doing such things. We're also going to see evil ourselves. We're going to see people passed up in line at a store because of their black. Or you're going to hear somebody say something about, and please forgive this, but I've heard in this town, those dirty Mexicans. Okay, they just worked all day in the field while you sat in air conditioning. They're probably going to have a little dirt. And yet for some, we easily can slide into such evil where we say, because they do that, they are awful folks. And all too often, we've got our own dirt in our house we're not seeing because we're not shining the light on it. The evil that we can encounter would be those sort of things, where someone can't get housing because what they look like, or their background because their uncle did this or that. The evil that you and I can encounter isn't the grand thing of concentration camps, most likely. It's closer to home. It's that aspect of when I'm willing to take a stand. That sort of evil where you say to somebody else, hey, Miss Patty, did you hear about Cassie? Oh my goodness, they made slime vacation box on the science room. Can you believe that? Oh, that's horrific. Don't they know it could have gone on the carpet? Meanwhile, if you check out the science room, it is not trash. I'm impressed, Cassie. But when we go into gossip, we can ignore the dirt in our own. Why did I just do that, Lonnie? Do you know? We can ignore the dirt we got behind us. I guess it makes us feel better when we attack someone else. That's the evil that's close to home. Where you and I can, instead of saying, I know, can you believe they did that? Exactly, guys. Instead, take a stand. Do the hard thing. Where it'd be easy in this case, which is an extreme stretch, instead. So wait, you were sitting at home all week doing nothing while our college student working a full day at the bank, then coming here to work with kids and sweating in a room where the air conditioning barely worked half the time, was willing to be there, and you're going to complain because a piece of slime got on the carpet? See, I'm proud of Cassie, let alone all of our other leaders who want to be here. But it's so easy to slide into that kind of gossip, where we attack somebody else instead of being willing to take a stand. That's the evil that you and I see day to day. That kind of thing where people are ridiculed, made fun of, gossiped about, said, or discriminated against because what they've done in their past, what they've said, or what they look like. Friends, that's the kind of evil that we can take a stand on. That's where it hurts, because it's close to home. It is so easy to rail against it. If you're, for example, on the left side of the political spectrum, I can't believe the president. Or for others of us, easy to say, those goofy women in the House of Representatives, if you're on that side. It's easy to rail against them. It's a whole other thing when it's right close to home. You have that kind of courage to stand up. That's where it's hard. If you don't think you have that kind of courage, the only place I find is Jesus. I don't have it myself. I like people to like me. That's the only place I find that kind of courage. It's so easy to watch a movie and say, man, I'd love to be there and save the world, or I'll be the one who's willing to lose their life and save the earth from that asteroid. And half the time, if I'm by myself, I'd probably be the one hiding in a closet. Please don't get me, please don't get me. Jesus changes everything. So if you haven't encountered him, he's the kind of one who our kids heard about all week, will give you that kind of power. The kind of power which is, we're not just talking about like lightning bolts zapping out of our fingers. The kind of power to do the right thing. Because love doesn't delight in evil. Love rejoices in the truth. And that last phrase, rejoices in the truth, ultimately gets back to who Jesus is. As he said, I am the way and the... Oh, good morning. Is everybody with me? Or you just take a nap? It's okay if you take a nap on me. That's all right. Because from John 14:6, this is how it goes. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So you didn't hear it this morning. Maybe you're just sleeping on it. Maybe you're thinking, my goodness, it's so warm here. Do you think they have the air conditioning on? We have the air conditioning on. It's just fighting. It's working hard. It's not doing a good enough job because it is worn out from this week. You want me to breathe?
Yes.
Thank you. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. If you really want to focus on the truth, he's the one to go to. You have a relationship with Him. Let's talk. He changes everything. My friends, here's your assignment this week if you choose to accept it. Intention show someone God's love. Humbly serve them, listen to them, tell them about Jesus. Ask for God's forgiveness when you delight in someone else's pain. That often happens when we gossip, talk about somebody else, or laugh when somebody trips. Vacation Bible School's kids, we'll move on. Speak up against being evil you encounter. Friends, I'm sorry I put that on you, because my guess is you're going to see something this week where you're going to have to take a stand. I'm sorry only because for some of you it's going to be incredibly hard. It's still the right thing to do. May God give you that kind of power to do what is right. Let's pray together. I encourage you to close your eyes, turn your hands up toward heaven, and repeat after me as you talk with God. Friends, let's pray. Lord God, loving Father.
Lord God, loving Father,
I love you.
I love you.
Heal our land.
Heal our land.
Strengthen me to speak against evil.
Strengthen me to speak against evil.
Empower me to stand against evil.
Empower me to stand against evil.
Enable me to love fearlessly.
Enable me to love fearlessly.
Lord, your love overwhelms me.
Lord, your love overwhelms me.
I pray in Jesus' name.
I pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Friends, let's sing together as we continue to worship. Following this service, we have a time of fellowship in the fellowship hall downstairs, right off where the elevator comes. Coffee and donuts, and who knows what else Dick and Linda Carlson put together today. So we can celebrate together. But otherwise, friends, let's stand together as we sing. Friends, there's power that may work through you in the midst of life lived here. May God give you that kind of strength to face the evil you see and to love fearlessly. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen.